Mark, thank you for joining me today. Shall we have a quick look at how Solvimon is built?
Let's do it, Arnold.
Solvimon, like a lot of other billing systems, is built up of different primitives. In this case, we're going to talk about 6 different primitives. We're going to talk about products, meters, subscriptions, price plans, customers, and of course, at the end, the invoices, which are the most important part. But let's start with products. A product defines what it is you're selling. In the case of an AI image generator, for example, the image being generated is the product. None of that matters if you can't meter that usage. So when a customer signs up and they generate an image, you want to measure, for example, how many megapixels image you generated for them. That's a very common use case in the image generation world. Once you've metered the usage, you actually need to define how much does it cost the customer to do that image generation. So we have a concept of a pricing plan, which attaches to a meter, which again, subsequently attaches to the product itself. When a customer signs up, they'll subscribe to your product. So they're actually saying, I'm allowing you to bill me for this usage. So the customer object, the subscription object, meter, price plan, and the product. All that makes total sense. Now, Solvimon, of course, is here to help you monetize your product. So none of that matters if you're not getting paid in the end. And that's where the invoice comes in. So once a customer uses for a month or so, the subscription will automatically generate invoices and you'll get paid. Shall we have a look at how that looks inside the platform? Because I think that's really interesting.
Yeah, let's do it. So in front of you, you'll see the platform, specifically Solvimon's own web app, and all the primitives that Arnon just explained, I will demo in here. So to define what you're selling, you need to define the so-called products in the product catalog. And like you can see, as an example, you can sell a premium fish. Now, to determine how much product you're selling, you want to set up a meter. These can be done in the users metering section. Does it make sense so far, Arnold?
Yeah, I mean, so unlike an AI product where it might be a little bit more, hand wavy, here we're selling an actual product, which is a fish, and the meter is measuring, I can see, the weight of the fish. So instead of pricing per individual fish, you're pricing for a metered object. So I would report that I bought 3 kilos of fish, and then you basically create the price for that. Is that correct?
Exactly. So having the fish in the user metering section, you define how much fish you are going to sell or to price.
All right.
Which brings me to that third primitive.
Yeah, we need to see how it's priced.
Exactly. And the pricing can be defined in so-called pricing plans. So now we've defined the products, we've defined how you can measure the amount of product you're selling, and we've defined the price. Now we want to combine this to a certain customer, and this can be done through subscriptions. Finally, we have the customer section that I shared, where you can define all your customers. And in the end, if we combine all of that together, an invoice is created.
Which is, as we've agreed, the most important part.
Exactly. Invoices are created automatically by our system. And once the status of the invoice reaches final, you can bill your customer and you can get paid.
I love the sound of that. So we had a look at all 6 primitives, right? We saw the product, we saw the meter, which is, again, how you measure how much product was used. We saw the price plan, which says how much of the product was used should be priced. We saw the customer, and we saw the subscription that the customer subscribes to. And now finally, we have the invoice. After this, it goes into payment collection. So with one of the PSPs or through direct cash transfer, depending on the setup of the customer, of course. So I like the sound of that. We'll look at some of these primitives in a little bit more detail in some of the subsequent videos.
Exactly.
Cool. Thank you, Mark. That was very insightful.